Alright, so I wanted to do a video on my ice fishing collection. I seen some videos online. Guys had like one jig pole and a hand auger and one tip up, an HT or something. So I figured I'd show mine. Those just are right here. We got a Eskimo Z71 10-inch quantum blades. It's a couple years old. I really like Eskimo products, but this thing, I don't know, it's super heavy. I've had a Z71s before, different ones and stuff that ran really good. This one seems like I got to clean the carb every year. They even took it to Artisan in Cumberland, Wisconsin last year. They had it running good for me after like 15 minutes, but then now every time I start it and I don't have my hand on the throttle, it just quits on me. Seems like a problem with this thing. I don't know, carb's always going up. Over here, this is Eskimo Z51. The thing runs like a top. We picked it up at a garage sale for 50 bucks. The only thing wrong with it is one of the gas tank straps is broken. Runs way better than my Z71. Thinking I'm gonna buy an 8-inch bit this year and put on there. That way I can have an 8 and a 10. And I have a shack too. I'm not gonna put in the video today. It's a pop-up camper with 6 holes. It's pretty decent. It was a quick build. I bought a lot of the material and stuff for the build, and my dad, he did 99% of the work, so a lot of credit goes to him on that one. I'll show that in a later video or something. Then back here, that's just a Eskimo chair. And I got a Eskimo 2-man. Nothing special, hardly ever use it. 90% of my ice fishing I just do with tip-ups and sit in a truck or sit in a shack or something and stay warm. Last year I was living on the lake and just watched tip-ups out my window. Then here we got the hand auger, just a 7.5-inch Strike Master. Nothing fancy. And then we got the jig poles. That's just a beaver dam there on the bottom from Walmart. That's a St. Croix. And that's a Frable there on top. St. Croix is like a walleye, you know, northern jig pole. I never really liked the thing just because I never really messed with it a whole lot before I paid for it. The reel has always been super stiff. I've greased it and oiled it and done all kinds of stuff with it, and it still reels really hard. Should have returned it, but I never did. It's been, 3 years probably since I paid for it, so I just gonna bite the bullet on that one. And I got my FL8 here. I've had bigger ones. I've had multiple FL8s. Got rid of them just because I don't, like I said, I don't jig much. And then my wife bought me this one again for Christmas last year. And this, compared to the big ones for around here, we don't have any super deep lakes or anything. This one works just fine for me. And like I said, I don't do a lot of jigging, so it's honestly probably more than what I need. And here we got just the garage freezer. I'm gonna put dead bait and stuff out here this winter. Keep it out of the house freezers where all the food is kept. And then moving along, well, here's my Redneck Chisel Eskimo. My brother bought me that for my birthday last year, something like that. And we got two 30-inch extensions, or 12-inch extensions, 30 centimeters. Scooper, gaff hook. These boxes I like to use for my tip-ups. They're actually tool boxes, but they come with these little tackle, little boxes on the side that you can put all kinds of different stuff in. I got sinkers and hooks and different stuff I might use out there. And each one I can fit like 9 tip-ups in. Show you the storage space. Here I just got 3 dog bone tip-ups sitting in there. They're not, they're a small tip-up, so you can fit a lot more in there. Or if you got a regular size like wooden tip-ups, you can fit up to 9 in there. So I really like them. You don't have a lot of the tangle that you get with a bucket. And then a bucket, you overload one side and the thing's tipping on you and spilling on you while you're carrying them out. So these things work great. They're like, I don't even know if I gave 20 bucks a piece for these. You can search them online. And here we got, this thing's normally turned off. I just turned it on for video purposes, but this is my Minnow Tank. It's like May, so I'm not going to have a lot of minnows in here anytime soon. I might occasionally over the summer, but you know, it's in the garage. They're going to get cold quick, they're going to die quick, so there ain't really any sense in trying to save any this time of year. But this winter, I don't know if this will freeze over or not with, you know, the 3 pumps on the back, 2 of them aren't even turned on yet. The aerator and fish swimming around and stuff. I don't know if it'll freeze up. It probably will, so I'm probably going to have to buy a heater to, you know, keep it from freezing. Yeah, that's my nets. We got a gaff hook sitting up there on the light. And that shack I was telling you about, this is my marine battery. Probably going to hook this up in there with a solar panel to charge it and maybe run like a, I haven't bought one yet, but I'm probably going to buy a 19-inch 12-volt TV with maybe a DVD combo or just another DVD player, and that way we have a TV in the shack. Run that off a solar panel, should work good. These Optimum batteries, this marine battery, never seen anything like it. This one will outlast 3 Walmart batteries that I've used before. This thing I haven't killed yet, and I've tried, you know, go out trolling, you know, 6-7 hours on this thing and leave with a ton of power yet. It's ridiculous. And then over here is my pride and joy. All my Frable tip-ups. I got a couple beaver dams there. I prefer the Frable tip-ups. Number one, because they're cheaper. You know, you can get one for less than half of what a beaver dam costs. And beaver dams are great and all, but they don't have the handles here on the spool. You know, that's pretty common knowledge to most ice fishermen. No handles on the spool, but the Frables do. All of them. And if you're like me, your hands freeze up when you're out ice fishing. You know, it's nice to have something to grab onto and reel that line up quick. You know, it's hard to do even if you have a pair of gloves. Especially if you have a pair of gloves on to reel that up. The beaver dams, you know, their claim to fame is they got the smoothest spool out there, which is probably true, but I've never had a problem with my Frables. I've never oiled them or greased them either, and they're all really super smooth. They're all several years old now. That's just my preference. That's what I like. These are the 3 here. These 3 that I use the most. I got a little overkill with the lights on them, but last year, like I said, I was living on the lake and watching tip-ups at my house, so I put those 3 blue tips lights on there, and they work decent. But you know, if you're just running off a cell phone, you get like 50 yards range tops. Then if you, over in this box, I got some more stuff. You use this receiver here, you get quite a bit more distance, but you got to keep it way up, high off the ground and stuff. I'm looking into vultures, but those things are super expensive, and these blue tips are too, but the vultures are a decent amount more than what these cost. So these work pretty good, especially with the receiver. I recommend the receiver. Otherwise, chances are in your fishing situations it ain't gonna work for you. So get the receiver. And then these 9 have Lighthouse tip-ups on, which I don't know if a lot of people know much about them. But yeah, you just turn it on, light comes on. Hard to do with one hand. The magnet on the flag sits on there and the light goes out. So when you get a flag, fish comes, flag goes up, light goes on. Then the best thing about these things is you can see the fish running in the nighttime. Normally you got a light on the flag or something like that, or you shine a spotlight out there, you can't see it running. But with this thing, you can see it running, so you can see those red lights on each side spinning as you're running up to it or from a distance, anything like that. So that's my tip-ups. These here are Frable Bigfoot tip-ups. I'm the only person I know that uses these things. I love them. I don't see many videos on YouTube about them, featuring them, anything like that. You might occasionally catch a glimpse of one in a video, and since I have experience with them. I recognize that in videos, but nobody really ever talks about them. These things are pretty awesome. Sometimes you can get them for cheap. Sometimes they're like 40 bucks. Sometimes they're like 20 bucks, depending on the website you find them at. I don't know if they even still make them anymore, actually, just because I don't think they sell a lot of them. But I use these for like my big pike rigs. This flag, I'm going to set this phone down for a second. Basically, everything about this tip up is bigger. I have to lay it on the floor. Everything about this tip up is bigger. The shaft is longer. It's got a bigger spool. It's like 300-yard spool. The base is longer, and the flag is extendable. The flag extends to like 36 or 38 inches, something like that. And they advertise it as a deep snow tip up, but I use these for my big pike rigs just because you can fit a lot more line on them. I got quick strike rigs on all three of mine. Last year was probably the best fishing year of my life. I think I pulled, I don't know, probably 4 or 5 15-pound northerns off these things, just off the three. And like I said, with those blue tip-ups, you know, those lights, the transmitters, you gotta have them high up off the ground, so when your flag goes up, if a guy put one of those lights, you know, up by the Frable flag here, and it's, like I said, 30 inches off the ice, you'd get a lot better reception off that thing. Then, you know, I just got a few odds and ends in this box. I got quick strike rigs. I've got, these are trophy teaser leaders. I use Berkeley Vanish on all those tip-ups, those, you know, regular size tip-ups. I use Berkeley Vanish. They sell it in a tip-up leader, but it's basically the same thing. You just buy the line. I use 20-pound for tip-up leaders. I usually run a 30-pound line. These tip-ups here, I'll run like a 50. But I use a 3-4 foot section of that for leader, and then a small treble hook. Walleyes, northerns, never had a problem. I've been bitten off 2 times, but that's probably just, you know, carelessness. You know, not changing my leader out as often as I should. Down here, I got a Otter Pro ice auger shield. It's kind of meant to be mounted on an ATV or something. I've never really used it. It ended up kind of being a stupid purchase in my situation. You can mount it good to your snowmobile or four-wheeler or whatever you use. But it's kind of nice too to throw in the back of your truck, you know, that way your stuff gets sliding around in the back of your truck. It's not hitting each other. It's not, you know, putting paint chips in your auger. It's not, your auger ain't gonna beat the crap out of your Vexilar, you know, all your electronics that you paid a lot of money for. So it's kind of nice to have, but like I said, I never really use it. Then over here we got just my minnow buckets, pretty much. Well, I've got more, but the ones I use the most, this Frable Bait Station. These things are pretty awesome. That the batteries will last an incredibly long time in these things if you buy good batteries. Like if I buy Duracells, the things will last for months. Just 2D batteries is what it runs on. Things last for months. If you buy Energizer or anything less, you're talking a couple weeks tops, you know. And I use it, you know, a few times a week during the winter. You know, cold weather's hard on batteries, but if you buy a Duracell, they're probably going to last you several months, no joke. So on the inside, it's got an aerator. There's a stone there on the bottom. It's foam insulated. Here you can plug it into a cigarette lighter. You know, it plugs in, it's 12 volt, and plugs into your cigarette lighter. Turns the aerator on there. The things are probably 80-90 bucks new, but saves a lot of bait. You know, shiners, sucker minnows. You know, depends where you get them. You can pay anywhere from like $6 to $8 a dozen. You know, with that in combination of my Minnow Tank, you know, I save a lot of money on minnows throughout the winter having stuff like that. So I highly recommend it. Up here I've got a plethora of ice hole covers, keeps your holes from freezing up. Or that's about it, I guess. I use a couple of these coolers and toolboxes and stuff out there. You know, I throw a lot of extra stuff out there. I go out ice fishing. I like to be way over prepared, you know, for that one time that I need something and I don't have it, or you know, I use heavy line just because if I break off, I'm dedicated to never let it happen again. So I'm like Mr. Overkill, but I bring way too much stuff out on the ice with me, so therefore I gotta have a truck, and you know, that's the truck I use. It's usually packed tight full of equipment. If you ever see me out on the ice and you need a tip up, just holler. I'm sure I got 20 extras. So, but yeah, that's my ice fishing collection, my gear, my plans. You know, a little bit about what I do. Leave me a thumbs up on the video. Let me know if you like it. Let me know how you fish. Comment down below. Thanks for watching.